Hi, back with fractions. In the previous videos, we've gone over cancelling down or simplifying a fraction, mixed numbers and improper fractions, multiplying and dividing fractions. But in this video, I want to actually look at a slightly more complex topic, which is the application of common denominators to certain situations. Using common denominators can be useful in several cases, one of which being ordering fractions in accordance with their size or magnitude. Now, sometimes if you have a sequence of fractions, let's say 8 over 3, 5 over 4, 11 over 5, it can be difficult to see straight away which fractions are larger than others purely because they have different denominators. The way we do this is we look for the least common multiples of the denominators here and then multiply top and bottom of each of these fractions in such a way that the denominators become that least common multiple. That sounded a bit wordy, but I will go through this example with you. So if we look at 3, 4, and 5, these numbers don't have any common factors. So we can just times 3, 4, and 5 to find the least common multiple. When we do this, 3 times 4 times 5, this equals 60. So we know the least common multiple of 3, 4, and 5 is 60. The next step here is to multiply top and bottom of each of these fractions by a value that will turn the denominator into 60. So in the case of 8 over 3, we can multiply top and bottom by 20 to turn the denominator into 60. When we do this, we get 160 over 60, because 8 times 20 is 160. When we do this with 5 over 4, we can times top and bottom by 15. 5 times 15 is 75. 4 times 15 is 60. And finally, when we do this with 11 over 5, we can times top and bottom by 12 to get 121 over 60. So now these all have the same denominator. This makes it much easier to compare the sizes of these fractions. Now to order it, all we need to do is order the numerators essentially. 75 is smaller than 121, which is smaller than 160. So you know, if we're going from smallest to biggest, this value will be number 1, this one will be number 2, and this one will be number 3. So looking back at the original fractions we started with, 5 over 4 is the smallest, followed by 11 over 5, followed by 8 over 3. When you're given questions like this in an exam or a test, make sure that when you order the fractions, you don't leave them in this form. You go back to the original fractions that were used. So you might want to order them like 5 over 4, 11 over 5, 8 over 3, and write it like this. So that's one application of using common denominators. There's another very useful one. When it comes to adding and subtracting fractions, the first thing you want to do to make life easy is make the denominators the same. Let me first give you an example. Let's say we had 2 and 1/5 minus 1 and 1/3. If you remember from previous videos, when we have mixed numbers, first thing we want to do is to convert them into improper fractions just to make things easier. 2 and 1/5 will become 10 plus 1 over 5, which is 11 over 5. And 1 and 1/3 will become 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 1 over 3. And that turns into 4 over 3. From here, this expression can be rewritten as 11 over 5 minus 4 over 3. The next step here would be to find the common denominator between these two fractions. So looking at 5 and 3, there are no common factors. So we can just do 5 times 3 to find the least common multiple. When we do that, 5 times 3 is 15. So 5 times 3 equals 15. This is the goal. We're trying to make these denominators the same as this number, 15. In order to do that, for 11 over 5, we'd have to times top and bottom by 3, which would give you 33 over 15. And for 4 over 3, we'd have to times top and bottom by 5. So 4 times 5 is 20, 3 times 5 is 15. Finally, you can rewrite this expression as 33 minus 20 over 15, because they have the same denominator, which is 13 over 15. This is your final answer. Now, generally, people tend to find adding and subtracting fractions more complicated than multiplying and dividing them. So just remember that when you do addition and multiplication, you find the common denominators first and then work from there. I'll give you a few more example questions you might want to do in your own time. Just pause the video. I hope this video helped.